Go on there and see if I'm good. Just be sure. Yeah. But keep it going now. The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, listen, man, it's been a couple of days since we went live. Me and Pop's been running from here, there, and everywhere, getting you guys world-class content, all over New York City. It don't matter if it's Brooklyn. It don't matter if it's Bronx. It don't matter if it's Queens. It don't matter if it's on 33rd, 177th, 161st. It don't matter what subway we gotta fucking take. We've been getting all the content that we needed to get for you guys, the boxing fans, to enjoy. Just the build up to Smith and Beterbiev fight week. So I'm here in the Airbnb. Before we get our day started, before me and Pops go to get some pizza and go see some one other landmark and then go to the fights, I figured I'd come here and chop it up with you guys because this is like I said, this is a fight that's worth talking about. So we're going to continue to talk about it, and we're going to continue to get excited about Joe Smith and Artur Beterbiev because this is a fight that I feel like all the boxing fans should be aware about, and they should be excited for it. Got our first comment of the day. Shout out to my main man, Jesus M. Saludos, BT and Pop. Saludos, champ. How you doing? Good to see you, man. I'm going to let you guys know this too, right? I haven't just been in New York City these last couple days. Yesterday, me and Pops actually made the trip down to Philadelphia, and we spent about 4 to 5 hours at Jaron Ennis's gym. So stay tuned for all the great content from that coming up this week. I'm not going to drop it like today or tomorrow, but it'll be coming up this week. So a lot of great stuff happening. Timothy Bradley still watching the channel, so that was good to find out. A lot of guys watch the channel, so just it feels good when your work is appreciated and you're just boxing. You're becoming what you thought you could become in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because there were a lot of unsuccessful years for your boy BT on True School Sports, but it's really good to start reaping some of the fruits of my labor. And you know what? It's just a great time in life. But let's get into it, man. Beterbiev Smith. What could we say that we haven't said already? Great fight. We got Joe Smith Jr., who I believe last I heard was like a 6-1, maybe like a 7-1 underdog, something like that. And like I said, if I was a betting man and I had some money, if I had money to put down on Joe Smith Jr., I would take the odds just because he's got that punching power, he's got that ability to hurt you with one punch, and we know that Beterbiev's durability and his pad and his chin isn't the best in the world if you can touch it. We saw Jeff Page drop him early in his career. We saw Artur Beterbiev, Callum Johnson drop him early in his career. So it's not like even though he's a devastating fighter, and I know he gets back up and he fights hard when you hurt him, he's not a guy that's not vulnerable. So just on that alone, I would feel confident putting a nice little $100 on Joe Smith, and if he wins, you get 600, 700 back. You can't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? But this is not a betting channel, right? This is not a betting channel, so don't take my advice. I'm just telling you what I would do if I had the money to bet. But you know what I'm saying? But Boxing on the Edge says, "Congrats, brother. Your wisdom is deep." Thank you, champ. I'm still learning about the sport. I don't even really consider myself a wise guy when it comes to boxing. I'm pretty much a student of the game and just trying to learn and take in as much information as possible, because one thing I learned about boxing, you never know enough about it. You never know enough about like the fighters in boxing. When you think you know all the fighters, there's always like these prospects in these different cities that you never heard of but are really good and worth talking about. Like yesterday, I was in Philadelphia and I was down there at the Jaron Ennis gym, and we saw some great sparring, and a lot of these guys that people will consider to be like club level Philadelphia fighters, these guys put in work, and they're really good fighters, and who knows, I think some of them have the talent to go become like world level type of fighters. So we'll see what happens. But Eddie Jr. wants to know, who do I got? A lot of people have been asking me this question, who do I got? I'm personally gonna go with Artur Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev has the better boxing skills. I think Beterbiev will test that chin of Joe Smith Jr.'s that's been got his jaw got broken in the past by Sullivan Barrera. So the way I see the fight going, I'll tell you guys how I think the fight will play out. I think early on, maybe the first 2 to 3 rounds, Joe Smith Jr. will get out to a hot start. I think he will probably hurt him somewhere between rounds 1 and 3 or 1 and 4. But then, like, once we get towards the latter part of round 4, round 5, round 6, I think Beterbiev will be warmed up by then. When that time comes, I think he's going to overcome whatever's happened in the first couple of rounds, and he's going to press Artur Beterbiev, and he's going to go for the gusto and try to get him out of there. So, and I think he will get him out of there. So I'm going to go with an Artur Beterbiev 10th round stoppage, something like that. You know, I think Joe's a devastating puncher, and Joe Smith Jr. will be dangerous for all 12 of the rounds. But Joe Smith Jr., I just think he gets hit a little too much, and he's not gonna outbox Beterbiev. So if you don't hurt him or stop him, it's gonna be all over for Joe. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But I'm just happy to be in New York City for this fight. I'm happy to be part of the crowd and taking in a big fight at the theater, at the Hulu Theater at MSG. You know what I'm saying? So it should be really, really good. And see, what's funny is I'm in New York City now, and now after every sentence I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, like a New Yorker. Yeah. All of a sudden I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. So you see, you stay here for a couple of days, you start picking up mannerisms. Yeah. You know, like if I stay here for like another 7 days, I'm gonna start saying, "Nah, me." Yeah, dip that credit card. Yeah, dip that credit card. You know, when you go to the subway machine, they don't tell you to insert the credit card. They tell you to dip that credit card when you pay for your subway tickets. That's great. But that's neither here nor there. BT, how was the card? I think there's a couple decent fighters watching the card. The best fighter on the card to look out for, I would say, would be none other than Brooklyn's very own Bruce Shushu Carrington. You know, there's a lot of fighters in boxing right now, in New York, but that people gas up like that I'm not really the most sold on. Like, that I don't really believe in. Like, I don't really think much of Richard Hitchens. I think he's whatever. But this kid Carrington, I like him, and I like him because he's not like typical New Yorkers. Like, he's not running his mouth, writing checks with his mouth that his ass can't cash. He's incredibly skilled. He's got his feet on the ground. You know, he's got his feet firmly planted on the ground. And I just think the mindset he has, along with the skills and the talent and the amateur pedigree and the developing fighter he's becoming, he's got a great father behind him. Like, I met his dad a couple times, and he's got a great father behind him. And when you got a strong father behind you, in anything in life, just in your own life, it don't gotta be boxing. I think that goes a long way. Yeah, but Jesus says Beterbiev by TKO 11 rounds. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. You know, Joe, I think is gonna get off to a hot start, and then Beterbiev will turn that intensity on, and it just get better and come with more ferocity. You know, if you know what I mean. Like, I think it's funny, right? I've spent some time around Team Beterbiev this week. Like, I interviewed John Scully. I interviewed Russ Amber. I interviewed all those guys that helped Beterbiev, become the fighter that he is. And they all they all say the same thing, especially John Scully. Like, they say, like, Beterbiev, they don't really make a lot of his age. Like, he's 37, yes, and he's not he's 37 or whatever, but they don't look at him like a normal 37-year-old fighter. He's the guy that they feel is actually getting better as he gets older, like a fine wine. He's getting better with time, and that's very interesting because you just don't really hear about that. You don't really hear about guys getting better as they age. It never happens in boxing, and why should we expect that that's the case with Beterbiev? I know, like they say, like his punch technique has improved and things like that, but Artur Beterbiev is still 37 years old, and listen. He may be a great fighter. He may have a 100% knockout ratio, but Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is truly undefeated, not just in boxing but in life. So I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a guy that abuses his body, but again, he's still 37 years old, 38 years old. He's got a lot of wear and tear on his body from the amateurs and training camps and fights over the years. So you got to think, okay, at some point, maybe it's not this fight, but maybe it's the fight after. Does Artur Beterbiev finally get old overnight? Does Artur Beterbiev finally, become and start to look his age and fight his age and be his age? Because he's to be boxing the way he's boxing at 37 years old, now going on 38, now he's 37 years old fighting for 3 belts. How many fighters you guys know are 37 years old fighting for 3 belts? It just don't happen. It don't happen often, if ever. And it just goes to show you the discipline that he has towards his body. You know what I mean? So it should be a good fight tonight. But listen, man, I'm here. You guys got my undivided attention. So we don't necessarily got to just talk about Beterbiev Smith. If y'all got any questions about anything else going on in boxing, drop it in the comments down below. You know, I'm a little hungry right now, so I'm feeling this live out. If nobody else really shows up, and if it don't get lit soon, I might just clip it at 30 minutes and go on with my day. But I just wanted to come say what's up, see what the fine viewers and the fine folks of True School Sports got to say. I'll tell you this, man. I was out there in Philly yesterday. Like I said, my boy Jamil Parker from YSM Sports Media had invited me out to come to Philly, so I came. And I went down to the Jaron Ennis gym. And I got interviews coming out with Jaron Ennis, his dad, Boosie Ennis, and a couple other people. And I saw Jaron Ennis spar yesterday, and he wasn't even going 100%. But even when that guy isn't going 100%, he's still ridiculously fun to watch, and he's still dangerous. And you get a feel for like why he is who he is, and just how special he is as a talent in boxing. So listen, man, I like Boots. I think now that I've been to his actual gym, I understand him a lot more than I did before, and I think like it confirmed what I already believed, that he is boxing's perfect storm. He is a fighter where elite athleticism meets elite fundamentals and discipline, and you know, only guy that I think could beat him really is himself, or maybe Terrence Crawford. But that's about it. Other than that, I don't really see much else that's stopping the guy from being the next star of boxing. He's that damn good. You know, I can really say that now. Jesus M says, is there an amateur show there? There was an amateur show here in New York like a couple of days ago. I went to it. They had the New York City Golden Gloves here. I went to go support my boy Daniel Wilkins, who is the brother of prospect and James Crunch Time Wilkins. Daniel had a good fight. You know, southpaw, very good. So Virgil versus McKinson, August 6th. Yeah. Finally, no more of this bullshit. No more of this nonsense about like, you know, oh, Virgil's on a bigger and better things. No. You signed a contract. I'm happy they're honoring it. August the 6th. I mean, you know, I might be there. I probably will be there at that fight because you know, Michael McKinson is a friend of the program. He's become a friend of the program. You know, obviously Virgil's the favorite, and he should be. But listen, man, Michael McKinson, don't just go by the 2 knockouts. The guy can fight. The guy has been the underdog before and won. He can box. He can move. He's awkward. He's physically stronger than his record would indicate. I think Virgil beats him, but I think it's a much better fight than people realize. The Airbnb live. That's right. We're in the Airbnb, champ, you know. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story, right? Because I'm not gonna disclose like the exact area I'm staying in, but I'm staying in the hood. I'm in the hood right now. But what's funny is like even though I'm in the hood, the Airbnb itself is actually very, very nice. But the building that I'm in is like a project ghetto building, and the area I'm in is like a ghetto. Like if you go a couple blocks down, there's like shootings and people getting killed and stuff. But you know, listen, I'm from South Florida. There's no fear in my heart. So we here. I haven't felt unsafe yet, and that's what it is. So I've been enjoying my time here in the Airbnb. BT Virgil looks massive, but you said when you met him in Texas he wasn't that big. Yeah, to be honest, look, for me, I didn't think he was that big. He's big for 147. He's big for that weight class. But when I met him, we're good. When I met him, I didn't think he was that big. To be honest with you, I expected a bigger man, but. You know, we'll see. We'll see, man. Like, we'll see what he can do with McKinson August 6th. I hope he goes in there and has a good showing. And because he's going to have a good – listen, Michael McKinson's going to go there to win. He's going to go there believing he can win. And we'll see what happens. I like this fight better than the Avanesian fight because the Avanesian fight, even though it's a more entertaining fight, it doesn't really prove to me anything about Virgil that I don't already know. I know Virgil can punch. I know Virgil can win a firefight. I know that Virgil can win a fight where a guy comes forward at him. All right, now I want to see Virgil fight a southpaw, a guy that can move, a guy that's awkward, a guy that's not going to come forward at him, a guy that's going to come to box, a guy that's going to come to not exchange. Does he have the quality to cut the ring off? Because I always hear about this piston-like jab from Virgil and how he cuts the ring off, but it's a little easier to do that when there's guys that are coming at you, coming forward. You know, they don't really have any lateral movement, so that's what it is. BT, what's the over-under for rounds that has to be the play if you think it's going over? I don't know. I haven't looked yet. I haven't looked, so you have to look and tell me. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the over-under. I've only heard the odds. Do you got Pops as security, so you good? Well, even if I didn't have Pops as security, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't be in fear. I bet it's no North Miami Blades in. Probably no. It's not. It's not. Does McKinson have pillow hands, or does he just not, or does he just not put anything into his punches and just boxes? I would say I'm not gonna say he's a big puncher, but I would say that he's strong. Like McKinson is strong. If you watch his fights, he pushes guys around. Sometimes he pushes them down to the canvas as he's dropping them. The problem with McKinson is he's got improper technique, so he's not getting the most on his shots. And it's actually one of the things that I think is holding him back from being the fighter that he could be. He needs to really learn how to turn those punches all the way over, sit down on him a little bit, and punch and throw some grown man punches. But yeah, I would say because of the way he punches, he has pillow hands. Even though if he actually had proper technique, I think he would be a part of puncher. So I think look, the way I see that fight going is I see Michael McKinson being very tricky for 2 to 3 rounds. I think somewhere in between the latter part of the third or the early parts of the fourth, Virgil will gauge the distance and he will cut the ring off. And then I'm thinking between rounds 6 and 8, something like that, Virgil should get him out of there if Virgil is as good as I think he is. If he's not as good as I think he is, then I think Virgil will have a harder fight than we think. BT, I'm really intrigued for Obeisia versus Ramirez. I really hope Obeisia wins. Well, look, it's a good opponent for Obeisia because this is a guy in Nova who's hungry. This is a guy in Abraham Nova who's trying to weight bully himself to a world title. He's a big ass 126 pounder. So we're gonna see what happens. Abraham Nova believes that this is his time. This is gonna be the signature moment of his career. I'll tell you this: I've seen both of them in person. Abraham Nova is fucking big as hell compared to Obeisia. So Obeisia is gonna have to box and move very well, pick his shots, and don't look for the knockout. But we'll see. We'll see how happens with that fight. I like the fight. I would definitely say it's probably the most interesting test that Obeisia has had since he lost his pro debut. So he's coming off of a good win his last fight where he fought the kid Eric Donovan, who was an Irish Olympian. So Obeisia's gonna have some problems on his hands if he's not careful. Also, if you think that Virgil fight is going the distance, that's a moneymaker too. Yeah, I don't personally look. I like Michael McKinson, and I would like to hope that he goes the distance. I don't think he's going to go the distance, but I do think he makes it a good fight. I do think he maybe even has some rounds where he looks so good that people say that Virgil got exposed. I think his stock will go up. People will start to mention his name for other opponents, and I think Virgil will get a win. He'll get some valuable experience. And the fight will be he'll get a stoppage victory somewhere between the 6th and 8th round. That's what I think, But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire, live in the afternoon or live in the morning here in New York City. It's 11:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you're new here. Subscribe, and definitely if you want to see me continue to get great content like this, continue to super chat because that's where this money is going to get me the fuck about to get me out here to be at these fights, to interview these guys like Jaron Ennis, Boosie Ennis, Joe Smith Jr., Bruce Carrington, Joe DeGuardia. Who else did I interview? Ismail Salas, John the Iceman Scully, Russ Amber. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So many great interviews coming out here on True School Sports. So definitely continue to support the channel. We got a couple more comments. Let's see who else we got. Michael says, I like Michael McKinson too. Me too. He's a hard guy not to like. If you watch the Chris Congo fight and you saw how they didn't give him a chance and then he beat Chris Congo, it's just hard not to like him. But me personally. BT, there was an upset Edes Correa beat Saul Sanchez. Did you watch it? No, I wasn't even aware of it. So Saul Sanchez, that's the one that beat Saul Sanchez. Is he the one who fought on Showbox that beat Jarico Quinn, the black dude that was wearing the buffs on Showbox? Is that who you're talking about? Because if that's who you're talking about, that's a good win for Correa. Noah versus Navarrete would be a great fight. I think that's the fight that, as a businessman, Bob Arum wants, because Bob Arum, he loves his Puerto Rican fighters. When you get a great Mexican fighter and you match him up with a great Puerto Rican fighter, you get a great fight. So he's definitely angling towards that. That's what he wants. Tycho TV says, BT, salute Brother House, New York treating you. New York's been great, man. Me and Pops have had so much fun these last 3 days, probably as much fun as we've had my entire life. It's up there. This is probably the most downtime I've had the 3 days I've been here, like right now during this live. So far we went to Yankee Stadium. We went to Yankee Stadium on Tuesday. We went to Yankee Stadium on Wednesday. We went to the Golden Gloves on Thursday. Yesterday we went to Philadelphia to go interview Jaron Ennis, his dad, and go to that gym in the daytime. And then at night we went to the Mets game. Today, and in between all this, we got pizza a bunch of times. Today we're gonna have more pizza, and we might go to Rucker Park because I want to go see Rucker Park, and then we're gonna go to the fights. So New York has been amazing. I'm incredibly blessed. I'm finally getting to do things I wanted to do a long time ago with this channel, and it's just a beautiful time in life and definitely in boxing. So yeah. Obeisia has some pop. He'll test that weight and drain chin, and that's the intriguing part about that fight. Will Abraham Noah be so weight drained that Obeisia can chin him and get him out of there? Mr. Flash 714 says, "Summertime New York B, nice staying. Are you staying a bit after the fight, BT?" No, I'm going right home the next morning, and then I was supposed to go to San Antonio for Bam Rodriguez. I had to cancel that. I'm going to Vegas for like a week because I got to go take care of some stuff out there. So I'll be in Vegas for a week, and then I'll come back home for like another week or so, week and a half or so, and then I'll go back to LA for Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna, and then I'm gonna try to stay. After that, I'm trying to stay home for at least like 2 months, and then re-up, and then continue the road show later on in the year. BT, Zordo, or Bivol, it appears they are in negotiations. You know what? I gotta be honest. This to me, and I made a video about this in December. This fight to me is not one of the best fights in boxing, but the best fight in boxing. I love this fight because you got a master boxer in Bivol and a master boxer of the highest order. There's nobody at the world championship level in boxing right now that has learned and mastered the art of winning a fight by decision than Dimitri Bivol. I don't think there is. So you got him taking on a guy in Zordo who is a great pressure fighter and a hungry fighter and really hungry for his signature moment in boxing and his signature moment, just to let people know that he is who he says he is. That this 43-0 record that you see isn't padded, that he's not some sort of Mexican golden boy / top rank high chop. He's the real motherfucking deal. So I like that fight. Might be unpopular, but I'm going to go with Zordo. I like Zordo in that fight because there's only so much time I think that Bivol will be able to outbox him. At some point, I think Zordo is going to close the gap on Bivol. And if you guys know anything about Zordo, when he rehydrates on fight night, Zordo rehydrates to like 200 plus pounds. He's a big guy. He basically rehydrates to a heavyweight on fight night. So my thing is this: if Bivol doesn't outbox him for 12 rounds, and there's any part of that fight where Zordo is able to close that gap and get his shots off, I think it's going to be really, really just hard for him. Really, I really do. Neither guy's lost. Both guys are creme de la creme. Both guys, in my eyes, are A-level fighters. You're not going to go wrong either way picking either one of them. But for me, I think at 175, Zordo is the guy that I would say has the best chance to beat Bivol. I actually think if Bivol were to fight Beterbiev, be a good fight. I think Beterbiev would get over the hump. And no, my bad. I think Zordo will beat Bivol. That's all I'm going to say. Let me get other comments. Yeah, Saul beat Jericho O'Quinn. Well, that's a great one then, because like I said, Saul Sanchez blasted him out of there. Saul Sanchez, a good fighter. So shout out to Correa. What card was that on? Because I didn't even hear nothing about that fight. I didn't hear nothing about it in the build-up, and I didn't hear nothing about it when it happened. So you might need to put me on game, champ, because I've been out here in New York. Focus on this fight. Yes, the pizza is amazing. Listen, man, if you guys come to New York, if you ever go to a fight at Madison Square Garden, my recommendation, if you're in Manhattan and you're by the Garden for a fight, there's only one option if you're in that area, and that's New York Pizza Suprema. My favorite pizza in the world. You go there, you get the margarita slices, and you get the what is it? The honey slices, I think that's called. Get those two, and you won't be disappointed. Salute to everyone. Anthony Yarde was at the weigh-in. Did you see him also? You was on the Top Rank Real Time episode. It was a small clip of interview. It was kind of like you was on the Leo highlights. Nothing big. I didn't see that part. I checked the Top Rank Real Time episodes. I kind of fast forwarded it because not for me, but there was actually an incident by the Garden when Joe Smith. So me and my dad were walking towards the Garden, and Joe Smith Jr. was walking towards the Garden. So my dad started like hyping up Joe Smith, and the Top Rank cameras caught him. So I'm disappointed that Top Rank didn't put Pops on the damn camera because it was a great moment. They're idiots for not putting it on there. He says, honestly, I just want the winner of Bivol and Smith to fight the winner of Bivol for Undisputed. Well, I hate to tell you, Mr. Flash, we're not going to get that probably because Anthony Yarde is the WBO mandatory. The winner of this fight will be fighting him next. The winner of today's fight will be fighting him next. You got Zordo, who's now the mandatory for Bivol. And then you got Callum Smith, who's going to be fighting this French dude whose name I can't remember right now. But Callum Smith is due to fight some French guy who's like 22-1 in a WBC final eliminator. So the winner of that fight will be WBC mandatory. So you're looking at, but I'm thinking about like September, you're looking at 3 mandatories in the light heavyweight division. So it's going to be very difficult to get that right away. Yeah, Zordo rehydrated 2-1. He's 6'3". Bivol is 185. That's what I'm saying. I think Bivol will box him very well early on, but the middle rounds are going to be very difficult for him if he can't keep Zordo off of him. But, you know, it's a great fight, and I just hope it happens. That's one of the fights, guys. I'm going to tell you this right now. I know sometimes people ask me, like, BT, like, are you going to this fight? Are you going to that fight? I'm going to tell you this. If that fight gets made anytime soon, I'm there. That's one of those fights I'm going to definitely be there for. That was Thompson promo. Saul versus Thompson Boxing. Shout out to the fine folks at Thompson Boxing. But getting back to this, I didn't see Anthony Yarde yesterday, King Hassan, because I was not at the weigh-in. When the weigh-in was going on yesterday, I was actually in Philadelphia at Jaron Ennis's gym. I interviewed Jaron Ennis. I interviewed his dad. I interviewed a lot of people at that gym. So that content will be up starting next week. But no, to answer your question, no, I did not see Anthony Yarde. I'd like to see Anthony Yarde because I'm a fan of Anthony Yarde. I fuck with Lions in the camp. But I want to see him become the best version of himself because I think he's a tremendous talent. You know, people often forget that this is a guy that had like 10 amateur fights or less. He doesn't really have a whole lot of pro experience. So when you start comparing his overall boxing experience to the guys like Beterbiev and Bivol, guys with 300 amateur fights plus, you know, multiple world championship level fights, the gap in experience is about as big as you can get at this level of boxing. So the fact that he's even been ranked top 10, top 15, he's mandatory challenger, that actually tells you a lot about the talent and the skill level that this young man possesses. And I'm looking very forward to seeing him get his chance because, look, a lot of people didn't watch Anthony Yarde's fight rematch with Lyndon Arthur, and they only watched the fight where he got dropped by Kovalev and whatnot, and all the cans that he fought before. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. If you watch that rematch with Lyndon Arthur, you got a new trainer in James Cook. He was a completely different fighter in that fight versus Kovalev, and Lyndon Arthur won. He's a much different fighter in that fight, and I think going forward, he's going to continue to be a much different fighter. And I think whoever wins this fight tonight is going to have a tough challenge come October when he comes see the man Anthony Yarde, aka Mr. Lions in the camp. I want to meet him. I'm hoping tonight that I meet Anthony Yarde, you know, because I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. And anyway, shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable, True School Sports Empire. You got Pops in the room resting right now. So it's the Solo Dolo show. But let me know where you guys are watching from. What city, what state, what continent are you guys watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. I'll give you a shout out. You guys know where I'm at. I'm in New York City, in the borough of Brooklyn. Brooklyn, son. I'm in Brooklyn. We over here talking that world-class boxing talk. Yarde is a natural-born fighter, indeed. So a little experience, but he gets the job done. Exactly, and he's getting better. He's like I said, he's getting better. Natural-born fighter. You don't really gotta mold him and shape him too much because, like I said, he knows what he's doing in that boxing ring. I just think with him, the only thing with him he's got to really learn is to really pace himself. Because he's a very muscle-bound guy, and a lot of times these muscle-bound fighters they gas out real quickly. So I think for him the key is to learn how to pace yourself and develop that professional trait of pacing yourself through the rounds. Did you see where Gary Antoine Russell is fighting Rances Bartholomew? I don't know much about Dude, but I hear he's a boring fighter. Do you think Gary will stop him or KO him? Bartholomew was a Cuban fighter, big amateur background like many Cuban fighters. Years ago was a guy that you looked at as maybe being someone that could really do some big things in the lightweight division. But at 140, this is a guy that I truly feel if Gary Antoine Russell Jr., if he truly is the goods, it's going to be a tough fight for Mr. Gary Antoine Russell. But, I just think, look, Bartholomew is a long, rangy, awkward fighter, but he's a guy that sometimes he's shown in the past. If you've watched his fights like Denis Shafikov in the past, this is a guy that has shown he will give up his size and fight you if the situation calls for it. And I think if he does at this fight, he's going to get chinned and chinned badly. And you got to kind of question the legs of Bartholomew at this point. Rances Bartholomew is a fighter that is on the older side, so you don't really know what the legs, what they are right now. Will they be what they used to be? I'm not so sure. I don't think he will beat, and I really don't think it'll be a much of a competitive fight. I think Gary Antoine Russell beats him soundly, and I like Rances. Rances is a friend of the program. It's always love when I see Rances, but I just gotta be honest. Rances don't got a big shot, but you give a fighter a little chance, but not much. I think Gary breaks him down, well, like a big combination. Joe Smith Jr. will have a movie one day. Tonight is the final scene. Smith by knockout. Man, I'm telling you this right now. I'm going to this fight. I like Beterbiev. I'm very cool with the guys on his team. Russ Amber, John Scully. Me and my dad was actually playing pool with them. We were playing pool, having a great time out there in Manhattan. And they're great people. So it's when you know the people that surround Beterbiev, it's kind of hard to root against Beterbiev. But, I love the underdog. I love a great underdog story. And if there was ever an underdog story that's existed in boxing, it's been Joe Smith Jr. It almost seems like, excluding his last fight against Steve Gaffard, who, mind you, Steve Gaffard was a fighter that was once a highly touted prospect, lost his first 2 pro fights, built up his record with 18 straight wins in South Florida against like nondescript opposition. Then he got the call to fight Joe on short notice. So unique circumstances allowed him to be the favorite. But in most of his fights, Joe Smith Jr. it's either an even fight or he's a big underdog. There's never been no like championship fight with him where he's like a big favorite, excluding his last fight, which was a unique circumstance. So tonight's tonight is like, he goes in there and he knocks out Beterbiev. You're now looking at one of the premier names in boxing. Because this is a guy in Beterbiev who is 17-0 with 17 knockouts, who is unified champion, who's been stopping really good fighters, okay? So to have that on your resume would just be nothing short of phenomenal. And I'm looking very forward to seeing what Joe Smith Jr., the Union 66, construction worker brings to the table tonight against, the boxing's knockout king, Artur Beterbiev. Andre says, BT, what's your official prediction for the Beterbiev Smith fight tonight? I think it's a great fight. It can really go either way, but I'm gonna go with Beterbiev, man. I like the Beterbiev philosophy of fighting. I like the fact that he's got the better boxing skills, the bigger amateur pedigree. I like the fact that, we've seen in the past, Joe Smith Jr. got his jaw broke by Sullivan Barrera. I like the fact that, Artur Beterbiev is arguably the most disciplined fighter in boxing today. When you talk to the guys on his team, they tell you he's a very, very simple man. The guy comes to the gym, as he would say, to become a good boxer one day, because that's what he says his goal is. He said his goal is to one day become a good boxer, which just shows you how humble and the humility that this man has. He's just a beautiful person. I like, he's very conditioned. He comes to the gym, he goes home to his family, and that's it. He does not watch boxing. Artur Beterbiev does not watch boxing. John Scully was telling me a story when we were playing pool that fighters, like big name fighters, will come up to him and clap him up and say what's up, and he doesn't know who they are. He doesn't know who Teofimo Lopez is. He doesn't know who some of these guys in his weight class is. He's just a simple man. Go to the gym, get big as fuck, get as conditioned as you possibly can, go to war, knock your opponent out, take care of your family, and that's it. You don't really got much time for anything else. And it's just beautiful to see a masculine man in the sport of boxing who loves his family, knocks motherfuckers out, and doesn't really think too highly of himself. It's just a great example of how more men should be in life. Not just in the ring, but out the ring. BT, what are your thoughts on Brock Jarvis versus Liam Paro? Step up too soon. I'm going to keep it a buck, man. I don't know a ton about Brock Jarvis yet, but I've heard great things about him. I know it's a big fight in Australia. I know DAZN Australia is really excited to have that fight. I know Liam Paro, good fighter, ranked, been sparring some world-class fighters here in America like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, and they all say good things about him. They all say he's a good fighter. So should be a good fight. I'll have a better answer for you on that later on. When do they fight? I'm not sure when they're fighting, so let me know when they're fighting. But if they're not fighting this weekend, or today, I should say, I'll look more into it, and I'll have a better answer for you in a week. So ask me that question in a week, or remind me the next time you see me live to do a video on that, and I'll get to work. Shout out to my man Johnny Boy 714. I know he's out here in New York. He says, "BT, what's up, brother? I'm nervous about the fight. Joe Smith Jr. is a local guy where I'm from, Long Island. I really want to see him win tonight. I just don't know if it's possible, man." Well, listen, it's always possible, man. I would say, look, if you're concerned about Joe Smith, I think your concerns are definitely valid because he's fighting a damn good fighter, a great fighter, and not just a great fighter, but a great fighter who's also a greatly disciplined man, which I think makes him even 2 or 3 times more dangerous than your average, top elite level pound for pound world champion, fighter. But I'm gonna say this, John. When I went to the weigh-in, Joe Smith Jr. was long. I mean, I knew Joe was longer than Beterbiev, but he's really longer than Beterbiev. So I think Joe will have a chance if he applies his boxing skills correctly to line up Artur Beterbiev for either one of those long ass right hands or maybe a left hook coming in, because Beterbiev likes to come in, and I think he's got a chance. One thing about Joe, John, is that Joe is a very well conditioned fighter. And that he's never going to lose a fight, Joe Smith Jr. He will never lose a fight because he doesn't come to throw his hands or he puts his hands in his pocket or it's a low punch output type of a fight. Nope. He's going to go out on his shield, win, lose, or draw. I think he's one of them guys. I got Joe Smith Jr. by a late stoppage. So Chance Dawson's going with the decision. I'm going with Beterbiev. I'm going with Beterbiev, man. But listen, it'd be great if Joe won. I'm going with Beterbiev by 10th round stoppage in a great fight. I think Beterbiev gets hurt in the first 4 to 5 rounds. He shows a lot of heart, raises the intensity, and gets Joe Smith Jr. out of the later on. I don't know how many times Beterbiev fought Usyk in the amateurs, but it was 3, and he won one while scoring a knockdown in one of them. I don't know who times they fought till Scully said. I didn't know how many times they fought Toscoli. Yeah, they fought a couple times. Yeah, they did. Beterbiev and Smith is a 50-50. I don't think it goes so rounds. One of them is going to get knocked out. They are, and that's exactly why I'm here at this fight, because it's guaranteed action. It's a great chance for Pops to experience a fight in New York. I feel like he's going to punish Joe, man. Well, he might. He can go either way. He definitely got the better boxing skills, that's for sure. When can we expect to see your boy Angelo Leo back in the ring? wish I had an answer for you. I don't have one, champ. I'm hoping by the later part of this year, man. But honestly, look, I can't say too much, but I'm going very discouraged about his career. Hopefully it's soon. Beterbiev is another GGG. Nobody wanted to fight him. I hate boxing politics. A lot of great fighters get held back, and that's my man, OG Felipe. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is, man. The business of boxing is ridiculous, and it's a shame because even if he wins this fight and puts on a spectacular performance, he's not going to get his crack at undisputed right away because, like I said, there's 2 mandatories that are already set in stone in this weight class. And then you have another one that's gonna be set in stone at least by the end of September when Callum Smith fights that French dude in the WBC final eliminator. So you can't even get excited about prospects of undisputed because of all the politics that are going on. Beterbiev fought Usyk 3 times, 1-1, lost a close fight in 2011 where he knocked down Usyk and got robbed in the 2012 Olympics where he also knocked Usyk down. Yeah, so Beterbiev, he's been in there with the best. He's been in there with the creme de la creme, world class, top shelf guys in the amateurs and in the pros. So this guy's battle tested. Kev and Effect. Shout out to my main man, part of the Demetrius Andrade Brigade. He says, salute BT. Great undercard tonight. If there was any potential upset, which matchup do you potentially see being an upset? Let me see. Let me go review the card. Honestly, I mean, it's probably like a casual answer to that question, but I would say the fight with Nova and Obeisia. Nova, I'll say if Nova is not weight drained and he can make this a fight with Obeisia as far as not letting him set his feet from the outside and box, I really think he's got the explosiveness to hurt Obeisia and really knock him the fuck out of there. But let me see. Let me go down to the card. So we got Floyd Diaz. So we got Cash Flow Diaz versus Daniil. Oh, that's the one right there. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Apart from the co-main, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's this fighter, okay? I don't know a ton about him. I've seen him fight. I know he had a massive amateur background in Romania. And I know he's a good, young, upcoming fighter who fights for Pro Box Promotions. But there's this fighter named Daniil Platnovitsky. All right, he's fighting Floyd Cashflow Diaz. This guy can crack. He's durable. He's strong. And one thing about Cashflow is he's a great boxer, but Cashflow got zero pop, like no punching power whatsoever. He like the Mexican Paulie Malignaggi. He got no pop whatsoever. So if there was an upset that nobody's talking about that you want to look out for, I would say Daniil. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but the guy fighting Cashflow Diaz. I would say him, the 4-0 guy fighting Cashflow Diaz. That'd probably be the one guy I would pick. Let me see. Rashidi Ellis fights July 11th versus a 26-1 Argentinian. Yeah, that 26-1 Argentinian, Brendan, is Alberto Palmetta. He trains down by me in South Florida. Argentinian Olympian, has good amateur background. He's not ranked now, but he was once, I think he was ranked about as high as 11 or 12 in the WBA. He's gotten a little bit inactive and hasn't fought really anybody great recently, so they removed him. But he was once a ranked fighter, so Rashidi Ellis has come back against a good opponent, and Rashidi Ellis has made his thoughts very known that he wants to fight Jaron Ennis if he can next. I asked Jaron Ennis about that fight yesterday when I was in Philly. And Jaron Ennis said, look, he don't give a damn who it is. He could fight the Incredible Hulk. He could fight Superman. He could fight motherfucking Daredevil, Iron Man. Just sign the contract, get in front of him, and he's going to show you what he can do. That's where Jaron Ennis is coming from. He's not with the talking. He's not with the rah-rah, I'm going to do this and I'm that. He wants to show the world he is exactly everything that he says he is. Yeah, it's a great fight. It's on Showtime. Yep. Right now, Beterbiev will run through the cruiserweight division. That's his best option after tonight. Maybe we'll get a Beterbiev versus Kovalev fight. I was asking him about that because, we'll see. I want to see that at some point. If Beterbiev has to wait for Undisputed, I'm going to say this. If Beterbiev has to wait for Undisputed and he can't get that Undisputed fight within a year of winning this fight or even 9 months of winning this fight, I think he shouldn't fuck about. I think he should go try to go to the cruiserweight division because he'll still be 3-belt champion. People will recognize him as the guy in the weight class. Going go to cruiserweight, challenge yourself up there. You know, they got some good little fighters up there. They got, you know, Kovalev's there now. You got Lawrence and Coley, Breedis. You got some good fighters up there, and that would really show people even more. I think that would actually bring out the best in Beterbiev. Rio, he says, the Hulu Theater is the home of the upsets. The place is cursed when it comes to champions. It is. It really is. And you got to factor in, right? We're in New York City. Joe Smith Jr. is going to have a lot of people that are going to get on the Long Island Railroad. They're going to make the trip on the Long Island Railroad. They're going to get off at, you know, 34th Street in Penn Station, and they're going to make their way into the Hulu Theater, and he's going to have a lot of support, a lot of people that are going to try to spur him on to victory. And so I know Beterbiev says he doesn't care about crowds and things like that, but crowds can help fighters. The energy from a crowd can help a fighter. And I think Joe tonight will get a big lift from the people, from the fine people of Long Island. They're going to be there to support and show that love. You know what I'm saying? Him versus Frank Sanchez would be a good one. Frank Sanchez and who? My main man, Carl Hampson. What's good, BT? Joe Smith Jr. USA. I actually got my American flag with me. I got it with me, so I'll bring that in there just to show some support to Joe Smith Jr. You know, we love Joe Smith Jr. here on True School Sports. OG Felipe says the crowd sure as hell didn't help Kambosos, so that's BS, bro, BT. Well, I didn't say it always helps a fighter out. I said it can. It can help a fighter out. Not always. All right. Now, there's special occasions. George Kambosos Jr. didn't have the skill set on that night to make it a competitive fight with Devin Haney, so the crowd wasn't a factor. But I'm talking about, like, if a fighter is in a close fight, if he's in a close fight and it's going back and forth, and most of the crowd is going for one fighter, the fighter that has the support can get that extra lift to win a close fight. That's really what I mean. BT, I want to be excited about Crawford versus Spence, but we've been waiting for a decade for this fight. I feel I can't get excited for it as much as I want to. And I'm right there with you. I can't get excited about this fight because now, like I was saying yesterday to Ennis, when I was interviewing Boots Ennis, and like I was saying to many people, like, now we've gotten to a point now where it's like, are these really the two best welterweights in the world? You know, with Jaron Ennis in the picture, and, you know, even some people think Virgil Ortiz is up there. Are these really the two best welterweights in the world anymore? That's where I'm at with this fight. I want Joe Smith to win, but realistically, I think Artur knocks him out in the 10th round. And that's the exact round I'm picking, 10th round. Artur Beterbiev. The rematch will be in Sydney or Brisbane. Dope. That's beautiful. You know, shout out to George. You know, he got to secure his family's future. Made a great living for himself in boxing, and he's going to have another chance to rewrite the wrongs, you know. Let Devin Haney think he's the undisputed champion. It's the art of war. Let him think he's a champion. Did you see there's already a deal set in stone for Beterbiev versus Yarde in October in London? Well, no, it's not Beterbiev versus Yarde. It's the winner of Beterbiev Smith. So we got to see what happens tonight, Chan. Don't be out here disrespecting Joe Smith Jr. But yeah, Frank Warren. I saw that like 2 or 3 weeks ago because Frank Warren did an interview talking about it. The date I believe they're gonna fight is October 22nd. So yeah. I'm a little bit off topic, but what happened to Navarrete and Shakur fighting? LOL, now Navarrete fighting a no-hoper, duck, goose, and I like Navarrete. He needs to quit weight bullying, though. Well, listen. You know, it's a tough proposition to beat a guy like Shakur Stevenson. You can't blame him. I think Devin Haney beats everybody in the division. BT, what do you think? He'll handicap Tank the same way he did Kambosos. Shakur, the only person I see beating Devin. Well, I think Devin Haney at 135 is safe until Shakur Stevenson moves up. That's really where I think. That's the guy that I think. The minute he moved to 135, all bets are off. But you know what? We can't talk about the future. Let's focus on what's in front of us. All right. Joe Cordina just knocked out Kenichi Ogawa in sensational fashion to become the IBF champion at 130. Let's make that fight at 130, and let's see if Shakur can get through that, unify some titles, and then he can try to maybe look at fighting Roger Gutierrez for the undisputed championship. And if that can't happen, okay, he can lead the division as a 3-belt champion. But I want to see Joe Cordina versus Shakur Stevenson. So that's my thoughts on your question, man. Where were you, BT, when you interviewed Buttes? I was in Philly. I went to Philly yesterday. Me and Pops We got on a bus yesterday. We got to Philly around like 10:40 p.m. Got to the gym around like 11 something. And we were at the Boosie Ennis dungeon, the Jaron Ennis gym, Philly boxing one-on-one on 4301 Paul Street in Philadelphia. We were there for like 4 or 5 hours yesterday. Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford about to move up if they fight each other. Man, I don't even care about that fight. Them two clowns don't want to make no damn fights happen for the fans. The clowns and their teams, both of them. So I'm sick of that fight. Ain't nobody beating Shakur. He'll retire undefeated. Listen, that's a big statement, but if there was ever a young fighter in boxing you could say that about, he's definitely one of them. Wait, do you think El Rayo with a little bit more seasoning can defeat Devin Haney? Raul Valenzuela? Raul Valenzuela. I don't know, man, because Raul is kind of like in a way, he's like the southpaw version of what George is. Like with less boxing skills. Like he a little bit heavier on the pressure, a little bit heavier on the punch output. I don't want to disrespect Raul because I like him, but right now, I mean, I have to wait and see how he develops. You said with more seasoning. Let's see how it looks after he gets some more seasoning. But right now, I would say no. Brandon Lett says, "I need my True School shirt." Yeah, get one, champ. Get one, champ. I gotta make some True School shirts at some point. I gotta mass order some when I get the money to do it. But shit, if you want one, champ, they're on Teespring. You can get them on Teespring, right? Hold on, where we at? Where that link at? Where we at? Right here. Brandon, and anybody else who wants to buy True School sports merch or any of the other like custom shirts I make. I made like we got the Canelo Exposed by Bivol shirt. We got the Demetrius Andrade Horrible Fighter shirt. We got the Devin Haney Commemorative Undisputed shirt. We got a lot of different shirts on True School Sports. The Cholatito Real TBE shirt. The store link is right there. The store link is right. Hold on, there. It's right here. So if any of y'all want to get some merch, it's right there. Good stuff there on the merch store. Go there and definitely go copy you a shirt. We got the True School Sports shirt with the white font. We had the True School Sports shirt with the pink font. We got the Andrade Horrible Fighters shirt. We got the Devin Haney Dreams Come True Undisputed shirt. There's all kinds of great stuff on there. So go to that link and you'll find some great swag. Some great swag there. Apparently, there is rumors that Stephen Fulton might move up to 126 to try to fight Emmanuel Navarrete. What are your thoughts, BT? Well, I actually had a chance to interview Stephen Fulton yesterday. I saw him yesterday. He gave me a bit of a I wouldn't say he gave me a hard time, but he was like he knew who I was because when he fought Angelo Leo, I ran my mouth a lot, all right? And I always run my mouth for Angelo Leo because that's my guy and he's a great fighter. Stephen Fulton was just a better man that night, but Stephen Fulton will tell you himself. Angelo in the first couple rounds was stronger than a lot of the guys that people say are better than Angelo. But Fulton made it very clear to me that he wants to fight Merjan next for undisputed and solidify himself at 118. Oh no, not 118, 122, I should say. He said if the possibility is there to make a fight between him and the Master Inoue, he'd love to make it. He'd be willing to go to Japan for it. He's a fighter, so he'd want to do that. It's just about can the promoters come to terms on making that big super fight happen between him and Inoue. But he made it clear to me that probably the more realistic move for him is to go to 126 and fight someone up there. Fight Brandon Figueroa again in a big rematch. Navarrete. He made it very clear, and he said in the interview, you guys will see it in a couple of days when I put it out. He was like, "Yeah, I want to move up to 126 and punch people in their fucking teeth." So, yeah, who would you favor if Navarrete fought MJ, Fulton, or Inoue? So you're saying Navarrete versus all those guys. So, if Navarrete fought MJ, I lean towards Navarrete. Navarrete fights Fulton. I'm going with Fulton. If Navarrete fights Inoue, I'll go with that would actually be a pick'em because Navarrete is big. Navarrete is big as fuck. That'd be a pick'em. Navarrete needs to stop fighting them Argentinians and them Tijuana cab drivers. Yeah, hey, they feeding him a nice, steady South Beach diet, Jenny Craig version of them Argentinians and them Tijuana cab drivers. I like Navarrete, but he fought. He fought some good fighters though. He fought Pitufo. That was a great performance. I was there for that fight. He fought. Didn't he fight Joet? He fought Joet Gonzalez, who's a good fighter. He fought some good guys. But yeah, I think he needs to step it up and fight some top guys at 126 or whatever. Because just in general, like the 126 division needs to get moving because this weight class is just absolutely starving for a star. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. 126, like Fully says, 126 is weak as fuck. But you know what's good about 126? The way I see 126 right now, the same way I saw like 168 years ago. If you guys remember, like when 168 was whack and like Badu Jack and James DeGale were number 1 and number 2. Like that's what 126 is to me right now. So, but the good thing about 126 is there's reinforcements on the way. I think Fulton will be up there soon. I know Angelo Leo wants to move up there soon. A lot of guys want to move up to 126. Figueroa's moving up there soon. So it won't be a shit division for much longer. Might actually turn out to be one of the better divisions in a year or two or 3 years. This fight between Mauricio Lara and Emena Navarrete will never happen because they have the same trainer. That's a shame because I've never really pondered that matchup before, like Navarrete versus Blanco Lara, but that's a great Mexican firefight. Great fight. Hopefully it can happen. 168 is still kind of whack. Like 5 formidable names. Well, you got Canelo. I guess you got to say Golovkin's there now, right? Because he's fighting his next fight. You got Canelo, you got Golovkin, you got Plant, Benavidez, Morel. Shit. Lionel Thompson. Fuck it. Lionel Thompson is still there, even though he's inactive. Well, who else? I mean, 168 is cool. You guys know how I feel about 168. 168 was never all that great to begin with. But it's better than 126. 126 might be 126 and middleweight are the two wackest divisions in boxing right now. Because 160 is whack because none of the champions are fighting each other. And then the guys that are like contenders, there's only like 2 or 3 really good contenders. And then after that, it's trash. 126 is whack because like who is the best fighter at 126? Josh Warrington, Lee Wood. I mean, what? Michael Collin. I mean, who is the best 26-pound Navarrete? I mean, these guys are not A-level fighters. These guys aren't like creme de la creme, top shelf, elite, pound-for-pound type of guys. So it's like, can you really like get gassed about who's the best at 126? I mean, you got Gary Russell who's still there. You got one of my least favorite fighters in boxing. Punk ass Mark Magsayo. I don't like Mark Magsayo. Fucking so overrated, man. I cannot wait. I'm gonna tell you this. Ray Vargas, another one. If Ray Vargas beats Mark Magsayo on July the 9th, he's gonna become one of my favorite fighters. I cannot stand Mark Magsayo and how they're trying to prop him up to be some sort of Manny Pacquiao. Like he's not that good. He fought Julio Ceja at 126. Julio Ceja is a 118-pounder and was beating his ass until he got caught with a left hook. Then he fought freaking Gary Russell Jr., who only had one arm for most of the fight, and the fight was so close he couldn't even win a UD. Couldn't even win a UD. So overrated. Such an overrated. You guys, look, Canelo, I know you guys say all these things about like how I hate Canelo and stuff like that. I really dislike Mark Magsayo more than anybody, man. Just because like I can see what they're trying to do with him. They're trying to make Mark Magsayo this next Manny Pacquiao, and Pacquiao is not. He's not Pacquiao. He's not Donaire. He's not none of these guys. But they're trying to make him seem like that. And it's only a matter of time before he get his ass beat. And when it happens, I'm going to be very happy because I don't like talking bad about the guy because I don't know him and he actually looks like a very nice person. So I'm not trying to talk bad about Mark Magsayo, but like I'm just the hype. The hype just makes it ridiculous to like the guy. For me, I'm speaking for me. Don't disrespect the leads with his head warrior, BT. Oh yeah, Josh Warrington. Yeah, the guy that does not know how to win a fight when he's not in leads. He needs to always fight at freaking Ellen Road. He needs to always feel like he's at a football match with 10 to 20,000 of his drunk buddies to win a fight. He can't win a fight. He would never cross that pond, come to America and get his ass beat. Never. Styonus is the real Pacquiao prodigy. He maybe he is, champ. I like Styonus. Really, really good fighter. He showed me a lot in that last fight against Beterbiev, because I like Beterbiev. I had a chance to watch Beterbiev fight Jamal James, but I went to Vegas, and Beterbiev was coming off a very good win, and Beterbiev's a very crafty fighter himself, so forth. Styonus to outbox him and back him up with that jab the way he did, it just shows you a lot about, his skills, his strength, and the things that he brings to the table that make him one of the top ranked welterweights in the world today. But we're 1 hour in so far. It's your boy BT, 12:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, the afternoon show, the now afternoon of Beterbiev versus Smith. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for an hour more, but maybe we'll go for like half an hour more, and then we'll see where we're at half an hour, and then we'll get our day started here. But shout out to everyone here. Again, I can't begin to say it enough. The support that we get on the channel is just like ridiculous. I was at the Golden Gloves the other day, and I was very low key at the Golden Gloves. Like, I wasn't there with anybody. I was just sitting in the back on my phone, editing videos, not really talking to nobody. And there was this kid. I don't remember his name, but he had a channel. This kid, he had like 4,000 subscribers on his channel. This kid, he came up to me and he was like, "Yo, are you True School Sports?" And I said, "Yes, I am True School Sports. What's good, man?" And then he showed me his channel. I subscribed to it. And then, it just feels good, man, when you go. Like, I'm in New York City. I ain't been in New York City since 2019, and people recognize you out here. So it's like I said, it's a beautiful thing. And just like I said, the support is amazing, and it gives me that extra discipline. It gives me the extra motivation on top of the discipline I already have to keep giving you guys that world-class boxing content. Mark Style was getting outboxed from one arm. He's not that good. He's a loss waiting to happen. Ray Vargas is boring. There's nothing like about him. I don't like Ray Vargas. I think Ray Vargas is whatever. I think PBC and maybe other promotions in these companies, they're investing all this money into these bum ass fighters that aren't that good. That money that they're investing into these guys should be invested into Angelo Leo, a guy that was the champion, a guy that's a really good fighter. He hasn't even put it all together yet. He's a really good fighter. People just don't know yet, but they'll find out soon when he becomes featherweight champion. And when that day comes, I'm telling you right now, when that day comes, I'm talking hella shit to everyone. Will you go to the International Box Hall of Fame one day, BT? I'm going to go there twice. I'm going to go there once as a fan, and I'm going to go there once like 20 years from now when they induct me. Yep. I'm going to go. I want to go. I want to go. Like, it's a great weekend. All the boxing descends upon Canastota, so I like to go and see what that's all about, because I haven't gone to that yet. Didn't the guy Navarrete is getting ready to fight give Rais Alim a kind of a tough fight, though? I looked him up on BoxRec, and he ain't got power. He's a smaller dude. Who the hell is he fighting next? Let me see. Who is he fighting next? I actually have no clue who the hell he's even fighting next. So let me go check to see who the hell he's fighting next. Vaquero. Emmanuel El Vaquero Navarrete. Mexico. Who is he fighting? Who is he fighting, guys? Give me the name of his opponent, because it's not on BoxRec. Who is his opponent? Help a man out. Let me see. Did you try to get an interview with Beterbiev? I did. It didn't happen. It is what it is. Maybe after the fights tonight, I could get it, because I'm gonna go. I know the hotel the fighters are staying in, so after the fight is over, I'm going to the hotel to see if I can get some content after the fight. BT, when you look at Bam Rodriguez, do you think his body is big enough to handle adding 40 pounds? If I'm doing the math correctly, in terms of adding weight to him getting up to 126, he might cap out at that weight. To be honest, I think Bam has wide shoulders, but his frame, like, it's weird. Like, he's got wide shoulders, but he's not a big guy. I think 126 would be pushing it, to be honest with you. Just being honest. Gerald Morgan, what's good, champ? What's going on, my brother? Just finished my 5K at 17:05 for the Jude 5K. Salute to your father from Washington, D.C. Yeah, shout out to you, man. D.C., stand up. Hey, Gerald, I gotta ask a question, man, because I've been noticing something about DC, these women from DC, right? Because I was in the gym yesterday, and I interviewed this beautiful woman that boxes, and she's from DC. She's from like the DC DMV area, Baltimore area. And I've been noticing, man, it seemed like DC got a lot of light skinned girls, man. Like I don't know, man. I might need to go to DC. I might need to go to DC and do some scouting. I do think there will be a wing eventually dedicated to internet YouTube boxing contributors. Talking about for the Hall of Fame, man. Well, look, man. I hope one day, if that day comes, I think I'll get there one day. If that becomes a thing where like the YouTubers can get into the Hall of Fame, I'll get into the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. I believe that because I think my body of work speaks for itself. And the crazy thing is, I'm still building my body of work. I really just feel like I'm just starting to like hit my stride, which is crazy. Everything you guys have seen until just recently has just been practice. That's how I look at it. But yeah, Ellie will be the first one because Ellie has put in the most work and he deserves it, whether you love him or hate him. Him and whoever else after that's up for interpretation. Eduardo Baez, yes, good fighter. I like that fight. Baez versus Navarrete should be a good one. Eduardo Baez, who did he fight? Who did he fight his last fight? I seen him fight his last fight, but who did he fight? It was Aleem. Yeah, Aleem. Yeah, you're right. Right, Aleem. I think I was there. Did they fought on the undercard of Fulton versus Figueroa? Yeah, I was at that fight. Good durable guy. I feel like Angel Leo is kind of like Shakur Stevens' style of fighter. He's sick as fuck. He's a very good fighter. Like look, I try to tell everybody this. Like I was on a panel recently. I was on a panel recently with my man Habib, D Style, and a couple other guys from the YouTube box community. And they asked the question of like who's the best featherweight in the world, who's the most exciting featherweight in the world, and who's the most underrated featherweight in the world. And I told him Angelo Leo is the most underrated featherweight in the world because most people don't know that he's moving up to featherweight. That's number one. And number two, he's going to be champion. He will be champion at featherweight. He won a world title beating really good veteran fighters. And he's really only fought up to like 70% of his potential. If he ever puts it all the way together, I have no clue. I have no clue how the rest of the division will handle that. He's really good. And he's before I go to the next comment, he's an A-level fighter. And if you don't believe me, there was this interview on the Boxing Voice with this kid from this young fighter that sparred him, and he said Angelo Leo is an A-level fighter. So the guys that fight him know he's an A-level fighter. Brother, I just got stationed here from Honolulu City, and let me tell you, DMV is called Chocolate City, LOL. All ethnic groups that are very young, beautiful, young brother. Yeah, well, just see, I don't know what it is, but for some strange reason, every woman that I've been meeting that's from the DMV area has been a light-skinned Latina woman. I'm not listening, and it's great, but it's a question I wanted to throw out there. Baez fought Aleem and gave a very good account of himself. I remember that fight. He did. Aleem didn't really look great in that fight. I didn't watch that fight and say to myself, yeah, I'm just dying to see Raees Aleem fight the top guys. He's there. He's a solid guy. I think he would be a good matchup for anybody, but I'm not like over the moon about him fighting. BT, you hate Canelo while I hate Bam. I don't. Yeah, but see, we're all entitled to our opinions. But see, there's legitimate reasons not to like Canelo. I don't hate the guy. I don't like him. I'm not gonna say I hate the guy because I don't know him, but I don't like him because the dude is scared of Demetrius Andrade's smoke. He is, no doubt about it. But I don't want to talk about that too much because we be like a dead horse, and that's a boring topic to talk about. How can you hate Bam? Explain to me why you hate Bam. One is Harold Calderon's old ass gonna fight someone good. Shit. At this point, champ, the question you got to ask, Boxing Degenerate, is when is he just going to fight? Because I had that interview with Harold where he was talking about Pete Dobson and not wanting to fight Pete Dobson and how Pete Dobson's not on his level and things like that. That was in January, right? That was in January of this year. Since then, he signed a management deal with Peter Khan, but nothing's came of it. So who knows when he's fighting again? He needs to fight soon. Did you see Arum announce Yarde versus Beterbiev if he wins tonight? Everyone keeps saying that. No, I didn't see it because I was in Philly yesterday. But the winner of the fight is going to fight Yarde. The deal's already in place. But we're not going to go out here disrespecting Joe Smith because he got a great chance to beat, Beterbiev. Whether people want to admit it or not, he does. You know what I'm saying? Make sure for the 37 of you that are here, make sure y'all smash that like button if you're here. Because I want YouTube and the algorithms for the rest of the time out here to tell the world that the Untouchable is live, that the cash cow of the YTVC is here, that the future Hall of Famer is here, that the Untouchable is here, that the kid from Daniel is live talking that real boxing talk. Do that. If you're new, subscribe. If you want to see me continue to come out to places like New York City and get these world-class interviews, super chat, and that'll all help. Yeah, Bam Rodriguez is lovable as hell. Lovable. Fighting the best people, he's a great fighter and gives everybody props. And he's like, he doesn't talk shit. He's exciting as hell. He punches hard. He's got great footwork. I literally made the video after the fight. I said, Bam is really good. He can fight whoever he wants, 115. But the guy that's the most dangerous that he should stay away from is Rungvisai. What does the guy do? He shows that he's got balls down to his freaking ankles. All right? He's fighting Rungvisai next. How can you not love the guy? I bought a ticket to go to his fight, but I can't make it. So I gave the ticket to somebody else because I'm going to go to Vegas for like this. I'm going to Vegas on Tuesday because I got to take care of something out there. But, yeah, how can you not love Bam? Canelo exposed. I missed that. I was wearing that shirt at my 5K today. When I got my first place award, photographers were like, why is Canelo exposed? LOL, salute, brother. Well, hey, did you explain it to him? Did you explain how he tried to handpick Dimitri Bivol on the backfire because Bivol didn't look good in his last couple of fights before? Did you explain that, he said when people were clamoring for him to fight Dave Benavidez in a fight that most of the boxers wanted to see, he said, I don't got to fight him. I can do anything I want. Like a little kid. Did you tell him that? Yeah. I like his Cuban fighter, Leyva, winning a decision over... Shoot! Oh shit! So you're saying Bruce Carrington's gonna get his first loss today? I hope not, man. I like Bruce. Bruce, in my opinion, when you talk about, are you? Hold on. I like this kid. My bad. I got lost in thought. What I was saying is, when it comes to these these New York fighters, Bruce Carrington to me is the only hope that we got. He's the only hope we got. Not we. I'm not a New Yorker, but he's the only. See, you stay here for like 3 days, you start thinking you're from New York. But Bruce Carrington is the only hope that New York City has as far as who could be the next great fighter. Because I hate to admit it, man. I like Berlanga, and I hope he can pan out and become what they hope, what we think what they thought he could become. But I don't think it's him. And then after that, you don't really got much. I mean, I don't really think much of Richardson, Hitchens, and all this stuff. He to me, because I mean, the talent, the pedigree, the skill set he has, and more so his mentality that approach to boxing. A lot of New Yorkers they talk a lot and they run their mouths too much, and then when you punch them in the shit, they don't do anything in the ring. Like i.e. Chris Colbert, So he's a guy that I think will be he just from being around him and seeing him fight before. And seeing his approach to boxing and just knowing people that know him, he strikes me as a bit different, Bruce Carrington. But we'll see, man. Good luck to the Cuban fighter. BT, if you're coming to Vegas, are you coming on the show to set net straight about Benavidez? About Andrade. That'd be great, because you know what? Yeah, I don't know when, but yeah, put me on the schedule, Brandon, because I gotta set him straight. I like Ness. Much respect to brother Ness. I respect all of the great things he's accomplished over the years. And he's another guy. We were talking about the Boxing Hall of Fame and YouTubers that cover this, but that should go in the Hall of Fame. He'd be probably one of the first guys after the Ellie's of the world that I would say that guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I think very highly of Ness. But Ness was tripping. How are you gonna sit there and disrespect a two-division undefeated champion, U.S. Olympian, saying that he's not fighting nobody good? All these guys that he's fought were ranked. All these guys earned their way to get that fight. Most cases when he fights these guys, they're coming off the career best wins. Like, he's tripping. So put me on the motherfucking schedule. I'll go on the Boxing Voice. I know you guys have been trying to get me for a while. I want to go because I like the Boxing Voice. It's a platform that I've enjoyed before I even had a channel. Okay, it's probably one of the channels that really made me excited about covering boxing. So yeah, put me on the schedule. See, hot garbage under the bridge. Yeah, hot garbage. What's going on with him? You know, you got to tell him that's when it comes to Andre. You know, stay out your feelings. Who has he beat? He's beat all the guys that he likes to interview in the amateurs. He beat Sean Porter. He beat Keith Thurman. He beat all types of guys in the amateurs. That's why they don't want to fight him in the pros, because they got their ass beat in the amateurs. So it's the circle of life. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Yeah, I couldn't. Listen, you know him better than me. I couldn't believe that shit. Robert Sanchez, salute to BT. Salute to you, Robert. Hey, Robert, I gotta tell you, champ, I'm not gonna make it to San Antonio. Something came up. I got some things to take care of in Vegas. I'm gonna miss the fight, but I hope you enjoy it. I was looking forward to going out there, but I can't make it. So I told them that he ducks high quality competition. They laughed. What do you think of the fight between Conor Benn versus Keith Thurman, respectfully? At this stage, I think it'd be a great fight because you got one guy who, in Keith Thurman, you question where he's at mentally and his hunger for boxing. And then you got Keith Thurman, you got Conor Benn, who's trying to prove himself. And what better way to prove himself than against a guy that was a former unified champion, only losses to Pacquiao, still one of the smartest fighters in the division. That fight, I think, would tell us a lot about the landscape of like the top 15 in the welterweight division. You know, who's where. You know, is Conor Benn a guy that can legitimately challenge for a world title within a year? And is Keith Thurman, does he really still have the gas in the tank to get over the hump? You know? Yeah, you guys are going on nuts. Ness is a Haney fanboy. Ness is biased. Ness is a Canelo and Haney fanboy. Well, listen, man. And he's a Danny Garcia fanboy as well. I know he loves Danny Garcia. He used to, if I'm not mistaken, he used to have one of the instrumentals to Danny Garcia's songs as one of his intros. So we know who Ness likes and don't like, but boxing and covering this sport isn't about who we like and don't like. Like, look, I can't stand Canelo. I think Canelo Alvarez is the scum of the earth. I think Canelo Alvarez is one of the worst things to ever happen to boxing. I think he's a piss stand on boxing, and I think the day he retires will be one of the greatest days in the history of the sport. But I always say Canelo is an A-level fighter because he is. He's creme de la creme. He is top shelf, and that's why we hold him to a higher. That's why we hold Canelo to a higher standard than other guys, because we think of him highly. But as far as he moves his career and how he acts towards other top guys in the division who want to fight him, he's a piss stain of the sport and a punk. And I'm glad he lost to Bivol. And if he loses to Golovkin, I'm gonna pile it on even harder. And Jamel Charlo's overrated as fuck. He's just a top of a division that has had B-level fighters for the last few years. Yeah. No, Jamel Charlo. Well, first of all, no. Jamel Charlo is not overrated. I think you're out of your mind when you say that, because Jamel Charlo, every time he's won the belt from the champion, he's knocked him out. And when he lost, he eventually lost by knockout. I do agree with you when you say that like most of that division is B-level guys, but you know, Jamel Charlo is not overrated. He's a guy that deserves to be on the pound for pound list. If you're making a pound for pound list, if you're into that sort of thing. Did you hear McKinson versus Ortiz back on since Avenetian said no? Yes, I am. I'm happy that it's happening, but I'm still like a bit like, okay, it had to come to this for you guys to be honorable and honor the fucking contract you signed. Like, y'all over here doing all this to avoid a guy with 2 knockouts and 22 fights. So either A, it's either one of two things. Either A, you don't think Michael McKinson is shit, or B, you saw something you don't like. So we'll find out come August 6th which one it was. Tommy says, BTU in the city, right? I'm in Brooklyn right now. I'm in Brooklyn. Yeah, I've been here for like 3-4 days, champ. My first time going live since I've been here, but yeah, I've been here for like 3-4 days. I'm about to go get some pizza after this live is done. What's good with you though, Tommy? Yep, August the 6th. I'll probably be at that fight, you know, because what's his name? McKinson, you know, he's gonna go on as a big underdog, and he should. But He's a friend of the program, so I want to give him that support and be there for him. Gerald says, Canelo KO by GGG, LOL. I can see that shirt coming up, brother. Yeah, we got to make the Canelo KO by GGG shirt. We might need to make a shirt for tonight's fight. We just don't know. Here's an interesting question. How do you think Virgil Ortiz and Boots would match up against Charlo? I think he loses to both. Charlo? Well, I'll tell you this. I saw Boots. I had a chance to watch Boots spar yesterday, and oh my God, bro. Oh my God. He didn't even go all out. He was sparring one of the lower level fighters in the gym, helping him get ready for a fight. So he was more so working on his defense and just throwing combinations and spots. But still, even then, it's like, damn. Jaron Ennis is what they say he is, people. You listen, as a guy who's seen him work in the gym, he is what they say he is. I think Boots Ennis will beat beat Jamel Charlo. And I think Jamel Charlo versus Virgil will be a great fight. That'll be a little bit closer because I feel like both those guys have that what I call the Texas style of boxing, which is not a whole lot of frills. It's not a whole lot of like movement, but it's more so like just straight linear punches. Coming forward, seek and destroy. That one could go either way. I would maybe slightly lead towards Virgil, but great fights. Great fights. BT, when did you start disliking Canelo? I started to dislike Canelo. Well, first of all, let me say this. When like Canelo, like back in the day, and you guys can even go back and check my videos on Canelo from these years because they're still on YouTube. If you go back and you watch any of my videos from like 2015, 2016 on Canelo, I was pretty indifferent towards him. Like I didn't really care much about him. I watched his fights. I didn't care if he won or lost. I would just watch the fights and enjoy them. I started to just like Canelo around the initial negotiations of the first Golovkin fight. So if you guys remember, like in 2016, when Canelo was getting ready to fight Golovkin and they were negotiating, Canelo kept saying that Golovkin needs to come to 155 to fight him, or he's not going to fight him, and he started playing hardball and all this diva shit. So it really started there. Then, like around that time as well, like I knew that he didn't want to fight Andre back then, but then it really became apparent, in the DAZN days, like the early DAZN days, that he didn't want to fight Andre. So I would say the 2015, 2016, those years. Ricardo Gaffer says, shout out to your channel. Thank you for helping keep my favorite sport relevant. And hey, thank you for people like you who support the sport and view channels like mine and help keep my channel alive, to give me the extra fuel I need to help keep the sport alive that we all love. So thank you. Did you ever used to like him? No, I never hated him though. I never hated him and I never loved him. I was just like indifferent. Like I remember when he fought James Kirkland on February 9th, 2015, the week after Mayweather Pacquiao. Like I enjoyed that fight. It was a great fight. I enjoyed it. As far as like the knockout, I wish he would have fought Andre instead. But it was a good fight. It was a good knockout. I enjoyed it. Like I didn't really hate Canelo like that, but I didn't love him either because I just thought he was always like, I always thought the reputation and the hype and the attention was always bigger than the skills that he actually had in the ring. BT, speaking of fake injury conspiracy theory, what about the one where Andre and Charlo both fake injuries to make a fight on PBC? Well, good. If that, listen, no disrespect to Johnny Beck because I still want to see that fight. I think Johnny Beck's a great fighter, a great upcoming fighter. Johnny Beck's a guy that I cover for a long time, but like that doesn't. If Andre beats him, it does nothing because then people they're gonna treat him like Liam Williams. They're going to say he wasn't nobody, and he had 12 fights. If we're going to get that fight, which I don't think we will, but if we are, then good, because that's the fight both these guys need, especially Charlo. He needs to stop being a punk and fight Demetrius Andre. Punch Perfect Box, he says, hope you're good. Hope you're good, champ. Shout out to you overseas out there in the UK. God bless. That's why I don't want to see Crawford moving weight and try to fight Charlo, because Crawford would whip that ass. Yeah, they don't want that smoke. I will always support your channel because you tell the truth, and tell Southpaw 773 TV he gets my support as well. Well, I can't tell Southpaw 773 anything because he blocked me on Instagram because one of my moderators blocked him on here, and then apparently he was running his mouth about me on his channel, which is his prerogative. he always said, he apparently, now I don't know if he said these things. I haven't seen it for myself, so I'm not mad at him. Personally, I don't care, but you brought him up, so I'm bringing it up. Supposedly on his channel, he said that this is the clown channel and things like that, and he was going off, whatever. If he said that, that's cool, but just know that this is Southpaw's favorite channel. This channel is Southpaw 773's favorite channel, and if you don't believe me, I have receipts to prove it, so I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, shout out to Southpaw 773. It's no love. Even if Southpaw 773 thinks this is the clown channel, even if he hates on True School Sports and us because of an opinion or whatever the case may be, it's still love to him because he's still someone that's covering the sport and people, and he's drawing attention to boxing and he's helping it survive and grow. So God bless him. I got nothing bad to say about him. They are making that fight with Madrimov. They're making that fight with Madrimov and Zordo. I think that fight was established, but Madrimov would have beat him anyway. Madrimov, I like Madrimov. He has to get to this fight with Zordo. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Madrimov. Very good fighter. I always question, can Madrimov actually get the big fights at 54? Because most 54s at PBC. So we'll see. Since we're talking about him, is he in Houston? I want that smoke. I don't know where he's at, to be honest. I know he lives in Chicago, but I don't keep track of him like that. I got my own life to live, champ. Brandon said he's mentally unstable individual. He flooded our IG with DMs with deranged messages. Well, hey, that's on him. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're gonna keep up the great work. Listen, I got nothing but love for everybody. I'm 27 years old, right? I'm 27 years old. I'm a grown-ass man with real-life things to deal with, all right? I don't got time to beef with anybody or have internet beef with anybody. God bless everybody who covers the sport of boxing. Charles Conwell versus Yoel Gomez. Who says no? That's a great fight. I love that fight. Conwell, we know what he can do. Destructive, 154-pounder. Gomez, a lot of amateur experience, southpaw, aggressive southpaw Cuban. That's a fight that I never really thought about, but the more I'm thinking about it, as you mentioned it, I love the matchup. I absolutely love the matchup. We got our first and hopefully not our last super chat today. Shout out to my guy Boxing Degenerate. You guys know the drill. When the super chats come out, so does Don King. So Don King, go ahead and talk to him.
Hey everybody, let's have some fun. You don't live but once, and when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. It don't matter whether you're young or old. Let the good times roll.
And let the good times roll. We will here on True School Sports. Shout out to Boxing Degenerate with the $3 super chat. He says Dimitri Pirog would have been pound for pound number one today. Well, shit, he might be pound for pound number one today. We got Dimitri Pirog reincarnated. We got Dimitri Bivol, right? Bivol is basically Pirog reincarnated, and he beat Canelo, who everybody says pound for pound number one. So the legacy of the Eastern European Dimitris is living on, long and strong. But Pirog was a great fighter. I would have loved to see how his career would have developed and seeing him in the big fights with the Canelos and the Golovkins. And who knows? Maybe if he was around, right? Maybe if Pirog was around, maybe he would have been the guy to fight Andre because he would have been a higher risk, low reward guy that nobody probably would have wanted to fight after he knocked out Jacobs. And they could have made a fight. So maybe probably a guy that's needed right now in the 160. Maybe he would have fought Johnny Beck. But yeah, Boxing Degenerate. Appreciate the support. Thank you for the super chat. Dimitri Pirog, pound for pound number one. I do think Charlo will beat Tim Tszyu if they make that fight. I think so too. I think Tim's still way too green and pushes his punches towards the latter part of the fight. So that's what it is. I think Charlo has shown time and time again. Don't matter who the opponent is, he's dangerous for all 12 rounds. He's got punching power and thump in both hands to get you up on out of there. So you got to respect what Charlo's doing in boxing right now. It's your boy BT, Brandon Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire in the afternoon. We're almost 90 minutes in. I don't get tired. I get better. Ask the ladies. We here, New York City, Beterbiev Smith. I'm going to get up because my legs have been stiff. But shout out to everybody here. Going to be a great fight. Stay tuned for all the content from Philly yesterday. Boots Ennis, Bozy Ennis, Stephen Fulton, Greg Hackett. Great stuff from yesterday. We here. I'm from Huntington, Long Island. Joe Smith Jr. trains in my hometown. I wanted to work out and spar with him, but his face was bruised from sparring a couple days before we met. Yeah, listen, man. If you're a fighter who's around the same weight class as Joel, and you're an aspiring fighter, and you can get some work with the champion Joe Smith, then you take it, because Joe Smith Jr. is a fantastic fighter. He's definitely going to test your heart and your mettle, because this guy comes in there and he punches with thump in both hands. He got great work rate. His boxing skills have improved. So yeah, definitely. Shout out to you, man. God bless. BT, your work speaks for itself. You don't have to explain yourself to these internet punks. Well, you're absolutely right, champ. You're absolutely right. It does speak for itself. All they gotta do is take the time and go through the archives, Tommy. Where's Pops at? I've been working on that Budweiser sponsorship for him. Pops is in the room talking to someone. I'm letting Pops rest, because look, ever since me and Pops have been here in New York, we've been on go. We've been going to baseball. We went to the Yankees game. We went to go watch the Marlins play the Mets last night. We went to the Golden Gloves in between. We've been going on different pizza spots. Went to Times Square. Today we're going to go to another pizza spot. We might go to Harlem and check out Rucker Park for a little bit, because I've always wanted to see Rucker Park. And then we're going to the fight. So I'm just giving Pops his rest, and I'm going solo dolo right now. But yeah. Battle Rifle. What's good, champ? Good shout out to Battle Rifle, one of the OG viewers. He says, I'm upset that I can't watch this fight. True. I'm going to be at work. Also, do you really think Canelo got exposed by Bivol? Yes. Yes. Why would I change my channel name, make shirts, buy one of the shirts, and wear them out in public if I didn't think Canelo got exposed by Bivol? He got exposed. He got exposed for being a freaking businessman pretender that he is. He want to be out here. He want to be a punk. He want to sit out here and say, I don't want to fight Mexican fighters. I can do whatever I want. He wants to act like he's bigger than the sport and think he's going to get over on the fans by picking a guy who he only fought. Let's get it right. He only fought Bivol because Bivol didn't look his best against Salamov and Craig Richards. And this is not me making an educated guess, because when he knocked out Kovalev and Bivol was looking more like his best around those times, he didn't want to fight Bivol. He vacated the belts. So he got exposed for what he is, a businessman. A businessman who doesn't even give a fuck about his own fans. Straight up. And I'll tell the truth about him, because there's no way putting the key in my back. I say what the fuck I want to say. Got exposed. Tim Tszyu should have been ordered to fight Kubarnov for the Mando spot. He fought no eliminator. Yeah, but let me see. I thought he was trolling. I don't think he got exposed. Bivol was just better. I thought Bivol. I was trolling too, but I actually believe it too. I was trolling. I was definitely trolling, but I also believe what I said too. Cause I think Canelo is an elite fighter. He's a fantastic fighter, but I've never in my life, I'm serious. When people always ask me who my pound for number one fighters, you never ever heard me say out of my mouth, "Oh, Canelo is the best fighter in the world." Because I never thought he was the best fighter in the world. Canelo fought Bivol because the zone offered him huge money as the fight being part of the deal. Yeah, that's true. But part of that was also because he didn't look that good. BT, you must have missed my super chat. Oh, shit. I didn't see it. My bad. I didn't see it. I did miss it. So let's get to it. So yeah, listen, before we even go get the super chat, let's give Brandon Lentz, the big bad booty daddy, Scott Steiner, put these hoes in the Steiner recliner.
Up and grind. And it's only a matter of time because they call me the big bad booty daddy.
That's it, the big bad booty daddy. That's all the beautiful light-skinned girls in New York call me. But anyway, get into Brandon's question. True School Sports, longtime supporter. Keep up the great work. Bivol versus Zordo. How do you see it, BT? Great fight. Great fight to me, Brandon. I made a video about this fight in December, and I said back then before Bivol beat Canelo, I said it. That is the best fight in boxing. To me, it's the best fight in boxing. Great fight. You got an elite master boxer. Nobody has mastered. I said it earlier. Nobody has mastered the art of how to win a decision quite like a Bivol at the championship level. And then you got Zordo, who is one of the best pressure fighters and smartest pressure fighters in the sport today. I think it's a great fight. I'm not gonna lie. I would actually slightly favor Zordo, because I think the way the fight will go is I think Bivol will have a lot of success boxing him early on, but at some point the gap will get closed, and Zordo is gonna rehydrate to 200 plus pounds on fight night. He'll be a heavyweight on fight night, And I think that he's gonna hurt Bivol if they fight. Straight up. I think I'm picking him. I'm going with Zordo with the upset. I know everybody's gonna pick Bivol. I'm going with Zordo, the real Mexican, at 168 to 175. Not Beterbiev, not no damn Canelo. Zordo. You see. But considering his record, if criteria is based on resume, you would have to put him number one. No, you don't. Why? What's so great about Canelo's resume? Everybody always talks about what is so great about Canelo's resume. What did I miss? Because I know his resume pretty well. It ain't more impressive than a lot of guys' resume. It ain't more impressive than what Usyk has done. It ain't more impressive than what Chocolatito has done. It's not more impressive than what the Monster Inoue has done. There's legitimately 3 to 4, maybe 5 fighters who I can say, based on resume and accomplishments, are better than Canelo. Take the Monster, for example, right? The Monster Inoue doesn't have the amount of fights Canelo has, but this guy has done more historical things. Canelo always talks about escribiendo la historia. Well, the Monster escribió la historia con Japan. The man's made more history than Canelo. Tied Lomachenko for the fastest, the shortest amount of fights to become multiple division champion, and did the same thing as a 2-division champion and 3-division champion. And 18-0 with 16 knockout record in championship fights. Nobody has a better record in world championship fights than the Monster Inoue. So on that alone, he's above Canelo. Terrence Crawford, everyone's going crazy about Canelo going undisputed. Everyone's going crazy about that. Crawford did that shit in 2018. So he gets caught up in 2021. It took him 3 years to catch up to Crawford. Secondly, Crawford ain't gone the distance since freaking 2016. One of the most consistent performers, if not the most consistent performer in boxing. Him and Inoue right there as far as performance goes. So on that, you put Crawford above Canelo. Then you got Usyk, who cleared out a weight class like nobody has cleared out a weight class in the sport. And he went up to heavyweight and became a unified champion in less than, by his 3rd fight at heavyweight. Come on, man. Like, let's not. And then y'all want to talk about resume, right? If we're just talking about like not championship records, not performance, Chocolatito got a better resume than him. Chocolatito has a way better resume than Canelo. He's knocked out more champions. He's actually dominated his weight class, not suddenly picked and choose, and he's fought better fighters and taken more risks while doing it. I want to know damn Canelo resume. The dude won his first world title at 154. That was vacant at a catchweight he didn't even make. Come on, man. Anyway, y'all get me fired up. Look at what type of hiding Joe Smith gave the Hart. He did, but freaking Joe Smith Jr. Or Jesse Hart's not a light heavyweight. When Zordo fought Hart, he fought Hart at his natural weight class, 168. Hart is not a light heavyweight. Benavidez puts hands on Zordo? Nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I want to see it. That's what I'm saying. My man YouTube with the extra E at the end. He says Zordo got the best feints. If you really watch him, yeah, feints. It's just methodical the way he breaks you down. People don't talk about him enough. These Mexican fans are getting behind the wrong Mexican, man. They're getting around the wrong Mexican. Get behind Zordo. Where's the love for Zordo? Like, Kosai Tanaka is a world champion. Only 5 fights. Canelo was nothing special. Exactly. Man, Kosai Tanaka, hold on. I don't remember which fight it was, but like Kosai Tanaka, like in his 4th pro fight, like I think it was like his 4th or 5th pro fight, he beat like Jonathan Gonzalez. And at the time, nobody really viewed that as a great win. But Jonathan Gonzalez went on to become a future champion at 108. So that shows you like what fight was it for him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When did he beat Jonathan Gonzalez? Okay, it wasn't like his 5th fight. It was like a couple fights before the Ioka fight. So it was like his 12th or 13th fight. But he beat Jonathan Gonzalez in his 13th fight. He beat Taguchi in his 11th fight. He beat Moises Fuentes like in his, what is it? Oh my God. Like Tanaka, we don't talk about him enough because he got knocked out. And, when you get knocked out and you lose in that fashion, people say you ain't shit. They say you're not good. But I still think Tanaka has class, as the Brits would say. He's class. Canelo can't make 154 anymore. He's not really undersized middleweight or super middleweight. He seems like he can't even make 160 anymore. He probably can't. B Youngshin says, "Good morning, bro. Good afternoon to you. Now we're afternoon here in the States." Ioka ruined Tanaka, going life and death with Sho Ishida. Now, yeah, I mean, he might have, but let's give it a couple more fights before we say that Tanaka's just done and stick a fork in him. There's still time. By the way, for those asking, like, what's my prediction for the fight? I have Beterbiev. I have Beterbiev by 10th round stoppage. Gonna be a great fight though. True School. If you ever talk to Benavidez, can you ask him why the Mexican Monster fought a 49-year-old ex-Roy Jones opponent and fights guys who 160 who are washed up? You know what? I might need to go to the next Benavidez fight, and I might just need to do that and start asking people this question because I want to know. No, Kosei Tanaka is training with Ismail Salas. Now he's gonna be much better. We'll see. I love Salas, and I think Tanaka's a great fighter. It should be a good partnership. He says most Andrade fans wouldn't give Benavidez credit for fighting. I would. If he beat Andrade, I don't care if he's injured or not. You beat Andrade. Canelo is not somebody who is above using lots of politics, but damn, I'll support him over most of these idiot cash draws. Well, you're alone on that one, champ. You're alone on that one. I don't support any man who demeans guys who are world champions and for a prolonged period of time avoids fighting them and thinks that acts like he's bigger than the sport. When truthfully speaking, he's really not even that big. He's not even that big of a star. He's a big star in comparison to like his counterparts. But if you want to compare him to big stars of the past, i.e. Mayweather, De La Hoya, Tyson, the stars of modern boxing, not even close. Joe Smith got hurt by Bivol, Vlasov, and Elliot Alvarez. His chin isn't granite. It's not, but neither is Beterbiev, and that's the intrigue of this whole fight. Morel told the Cubas to get Benavidez fight, and they called PBC to get that fight. Also, why are they quiet now that Morel and Andre both answered their call? It's weird. Well, look, 168 and just in general, 160 to 168 is a mess, and I'm over the fact that these guys fighting each other like that. Benavidez talks all great game. When it comes to make these fights happen, it don't happen because Samson boxing is just got him in winner's protection. But I like Benavidez, but it's the truth. Samson didn't want to make the K play unification in early 2020 before Canelo was in the weight class. Samson doesn't want to fight Andrade, and I really have great reason to question if they want to fight Moreau. He said, Brandon says, man, cut this shit. Ronnie Shields don't want that fight. Shit, I heard Ronnie Shields might get fired for not wanting that fight. Canelo is a star. What are you talking about? He's doing the best pay-per-view buys right now. Yeah, you didn't hear what I was saying. He's a big star in comparison to the fighters of today, the guys that are actively boxing right now. But if you want to compare him to the other modern stars of boxing, like De La Hoya, Mayweather, Tyson, these types of guys, he's not that big. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from South Florida, for those of you who don't know. I'm from the Miami area. Canelo is not big in South Florida, Miami area, the way he is in Vegas, Texas, and these kind of places. And I would even say New York. He ain't big. He's big, but I mean, he's big because he's a star, but like, he ain't like that. Like, it's an illusion. Maybe if he fought some of the other big Mexican fighters, he'd be a bigger star. He was still dropped. That's my point, though. He was still dropped. He's the face of boxing. Nope. There are the only two guys at 168 and 168 trying to fight: Demetrius Andrade and David L. Jr. And I don't know, man. I'll say David Morrell, and you guys know I love Boo Boo, but I can't be biased. I can't be biased. Demetrius Andrade's got fucking Johnny Beck screaming out at the top of his lungs to fight him, and he's like sticking his nose in the air about him, and it's really it's starting to piss me off. So I haven't really unleashed on Andre the way that I'm gonna want to if he avoids the fight. But if he can't secure one of them big fights against a Charlo, against a Benavidez, against the Plant, someone like that, and he still doesn't fight Johnny Beck, then I'm gonna have a lot to say. Let me see. Johnny Shields told y'all Charlo wasn't ready for J-Rock. He says that about all his fighters. That don't matter. Morrell signs his contracts, not Ronnie. And the team already asked PBC for the fight. Hold up. We'll see what happens, man. I seen Calvin Henderson countering the shit out of Morrell, landing clean shots. Well, Dave Benavidez, he's not no damn counter puncher. I mean, he likes to get off first. There's different styles. Which fighters are Canelo demeaning and which ones are he avoiding? The fighters he's demeaning are Demetrius Andrade, David Benavidez, and he's avoiding both of them, okay? He's demeaning both those fighters. I don't like Jamal Charlo. Personally, I think he's a punk and he don't deserve anything in boxing. Fuck him, but Canelo has also avoided him, okay? Personally, I would like Canelo to fight Charlo just to beat him because I don't like Charlo. But even Charlo, they created the WBC franchise belt, and Charlo was the one that got fucked over the most. That's reality. Okay, there's a lot of guys he's demeaned. There's a lot of guys he's avoided. Let's not play like let's not be fools here. Morrell has proven nothing and is very inexperienced. Let him fight Anthony DeRosa first. You can't really say he hasn't proven anything. Because he's fought guys who are good veteran fighters. He fought the Alontes Fox of the world. Alontes Fox fought Andre, took him the distance, fought Liam Williams, another decent fighter in the weight class. Stopped them earlier than both those guys did. See, he's made some statements. He won the WBA interim title with no camp against Lennox Allen in his second or third pro fight. He's done some good things. You can say you can say, okay, maybe he needs more time, but I think he's willing to take those fights. That's bullshit about Sergey. HBO didn't even want to put the money up for the fight. Even Sergey Derevinchenko's own trainer, Rozier, he came out and debunked all that. So don't miss me with the he ducked Sergey Derevinchenko bullshit. But listen, again, it always comes back to Andre and Canelo and these guys on this channel. Always, never fails. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. Well, that's on Jamal. Jamal doesn't want to fight anybody. Jamal Charlo is one of the biggest punks in boxing. Guy talks all this shit, needs to get like a fifth of Henny in his system to get any sort of balls to fight anybody or talk. When he was on the Mike Tyson podcast, he didn't want to call out Benavidez. He didn't want to call out nobody. He sounded like a freaking whack-ass WWE superstar trying to call them guys out on the Mike Tyson podcast. Didn't want to name nobody by name. But then when he gets a fifth of Henny in the system, then all of a sudden he want to be Mr. Courageous. Let me see. Also, the only person you can probably hold him mostly accountable for is Andre. Talking about Charlo or Canelo. Talking about Canelo or Charlo. Either way, both of them don't want no smoke. Yeah, I'm with Dello. Charlo is Jamal Charlo. He says, listen, I like him. I hope he turned his career on and become the Charlo of old at 54, who was hungry and wasn't this complacent, lazy-ass fighter. But he's a hoe right now. It's a fact. And anybody in his team who truly loves him and wants to see him be the best version of himself, they should be telling him the same thing. You're a great fighter, but you're being a hoe. Fight someone. Canelo. I'm referring to Canelo. Okay, yeah. Why did Boo Boo run to Germany and fight for the Reggie belt instead of Lara and left the network and also said Lara would be his last option? Maybe because Arizona Lara, when it came time to make the fight happen, negotiations just broke down. Where's Laura now? Why isn't Laura calling on Andre now? You know what? And I'm going to say this too, right? I'm going to say this too. Because this needs to be said about Laura. I like Laura. Yeah, he said he was boring. He did say that. I remember that. Yeah, I look bad on him. So you could say maybe he ducked Laura too. I'll let you have that one just because I'm being fair. But listen, people act like Laura's this killer. That's another one. Laura's this big killer. The motherfucker had a draw won a technical decision with Vanes Martirosyan. You guys give Andre all this shit for getting dropped by Vanes Martirosyan and winning the fight. But then Lara goes life and death with the guy and has to rematch him years later when he's no longer as good as he used to be. And you guys praise this guy. Lara in 2017. Lara spent his whole year fighting, most of the year fighting from 2017. Was it part of 2016, 2017? Like there was like a good year and a half stretch where Lara said, what did he say? He was just fighting welterweights. He fought Yuri Foreman. He fought Jan Zevic. He wouldn't even fight motherfucking 54-pounders. Forget Andrade. Forget Charlo. He was fighting motherfucking welterweights. He was fighting the Rabbi. He was fighting freaking Jan Zevic. Like, come on, man. I was at those fights. I was there both in Miami. Doing nothing. Pissing about. Going on vacations with his girl all the time. God bless him. But I'm just saying, like, Vanes was a tough competitor. He was. I'm not taking nothing from Vanes. I like Vanes. I don't listen. That's not me. I'm not the guy that demeans fighters. All right. It's you guys. Not you guys, but like it's a lot of boxing fans that demean fighters. You guys say these guys ain't shit. You guys say that Andrade ain't fought nobody. You guys say that these guys are horrible fighters. I don't do that. I give every fighter respect. You know. Hold up, BT. Don't they remember Lara and Molina? Yeah, Lara and Carlos Molina. Y'all like this guy is no killer. Another Cuban based in Germany called William Skull fighting for an IBF limit at 168 versus. Okay, I'll have to check that out. What are your thoughts on Jamal Charlo calling out Crawford and saying he'll move down to 154 to fight Crawford, but saying no to Andrade? Listen, man, I'm really trying to be disrespectful, man, but like I don't know what they do in Houston. You know, everybody I know, I don't know if Charlo's a bit different in Houston because everybody I know Brandon Lance from Houston. I got my boy Felipe from Houston. I got a couple of friends from Houston. Everyone I know from Houston is a 10 toes down, solid person, solid individuals. But like, I don't know what they do in his specific neighborhood in Houston, but see where I'm from, someone call you out like Andre calling you out. You can't run from that smoke. That's pussy. For lack of a better term, that is pussy. If you're gonna fight Crawford at 54 and you're already at 60 and you're gonna come down from Crawford at 54, but you won't fight the guy who's been calling you out for all these years at 60, then it says that there's something there, there's something lacking in his character. Oh, there you go. Brandon said he out in Sugarland, not Houston. So he said Brandon said we don't claim him. So if Brandon said it, then yeah, he's from Sugarland with some sugar in the tank. If you're 34 and never be the world champion, you need to look over your career and put some blame on yourself. I mean, he's a 2-division champion. He's made multiple millions of dollars fighting over the years. He's a USA Olympian. Canelo, your boy Canelo's too pussy to fight him. Charlo doesn't want to fight him. A lot of these guys don't want to fight him. Can you say he avoided some guys? If you want to, yeah. There's enough to where you could say he could. But listen, the reality is neither you nor I were in the negotiation room. But what we do know is Canelo told Andrade you're never getting the fight and that you're a horrible fighter. And we know that Jamal Charlo told Andrade that I'm not a matchmaker, bro. So these are things we know. And they don't want that smoke. But I'm going to tell you this. With this Johnny Bag situation, I'm about to go off on Andrew because he pissed me off. Would Crawford put hands on Jamel? There's only one way to find out. This live is supposed to be about Beterbiev and Smith. How does it become about Andrade? Because Fresh BX, everything is about Andrade. All roads lead to Demetrius Andrade. It don't matter if we're having a 3-belt light heavyweight unification. It's still about Demetrius Andrade, even when you think it isn't, because they say this guy's not a star. They say this guy is horrible. They say no, he doesn't sell. But why is it that every live, I could be talking about the motherfucking 115-pound division. I could be talking about the flyweight division. Someone's still going to bring up Andrade because people, listen, whether people can admit it or not, they want to see him fight. Canelo, I want you to think about it, right? People, I know they say Canelo's this big star. Let's all ask ourselves a question. What's the highest, apart from like his actual fights, when we talk about interviews and media and stuff like that, what's Canelo's highest interview or anything like that? The highest Canelo interview or like media press conferences when Andrade crashed the press conference when he said, get the fuck up out of here. The best moment of Canelo's personality in his boxing career in English came because of Demetrius Andrade. So listen, all roads lead to Andrade, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. It must be that Kambosos auto deception again. Yes, let Devin Haney think he's the undefeated champion. Yo, true, you can't cap for Andrade. He had more than one example opportunity to put himself in a better position to fight for world champions. If he took the belt at 154 and Dia Plank got a fight, he would have too. Listen, all I know is Canelo Alvarez didn't want to fight for undisputed. Yeah, there were some things. There were a couple scenarios like people like to bring up the Charlo situation. Listen, I've already hashed all this out in other videos. I don't gotta go through all this again. But all I know is when you talk to people in the business, fuck the fighters for a second. Fuck the fighters, all right? When you talk to actual people in the boxing business, managers, promoters, things like that, these guys are never in a hurry to fight Andrade. I've talked to plenty of managers who have fighters. Would you put them on Andrade? No, that's not a good fight for us right now. Oh, no. They don't want to fight. They don't. Oh, man. Shout out, hey, we gotta give this super chat. Two Scott Steiners. Put these holes in the Steiner recliner twice, big bad booty daddy.
The bump and grind. And it's only a matter of time because he called me the big bad booty daddy. The bump and grind. And it's only a matter of time because he called me the big bad booty daddy.
Shout out to my boy Joe Habib and the fine folks over at Ringside Reporter Live. Make sure you guys go subscribe to them and go support everything they got going on over there. By the way, Beebs, my apologies for not being able to make the live. I should have messaged you. I wasn't here in New York for the fight. I don't know if I messaged you or if I didn't, but if I didn't, I apologize because I know you wanted me on there, but I appreciate you. He says, do you like the over of 8.5 rounds tonight? I took the over plus I got a little something on Smith. I think he's alive. Yeah, I do. My prediction, Joe, actually is for a 10th round Artur Beterbiev stoppage. So if it goes that long, you know, you're in the clear. You're good. So yeah, man. Shout out to Ringside Reporter Live. Make sure you guys go subscribe and run his stuff up because Beebs is a great person and one of the better people I met in boxing. You know, great guy. Let's see, we got more comments. We got let me see. So you guys got like 5 to 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up on out of here because I gotta go eat. Let me see. I can understand if Andrade said he made mistakes in his career on his journey, but he now feels hungry. But dude, I can't feel sorry for you now. All of a sudden, now that you want the best, he always wanted the best. I've never heard of a champion needing to use the art of the set pre-fight to gain an advantage over the challenger. I knew then he was defeated. Yeah. Precious, I got the over. Make that money. The over. Make that money on the over. No worries. I know you went down there. It's all good. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. The legend, Beebs is here. People talk about Andrade postponing fights. How many fights did Beterbiev postpone? True question off the top of my head. It's like 2. Yeah, Beterbiev had a couple fights that got postponed. What's his name? This doesn't let Andrade out the hook, but I'm just saying, like, there seems to be not the same energy kept when it comes to Andrade. You know, Beterbiev's had fight postponed. Jamal Charlo had a fight postponed just now. Nobody got one crazy about it, but me. Jamal Charlo had the first Tony Harrison fight postponed. So it's like, my betting bro told me Cash might be in trouble tonight. He is. I was just talking about that earlier. Someone asked me earlier, what's a fight on the card that could be an upset? And you know, apart from the co-main event, which everybody's gonna say Abraham Nova or whoever has a chance to win. That fight is a good fight. The dude, I can't remember the guy's last name, but the dude, Danny from Romania, the 4-0 fighter that's fighting Cashflow. I met him before. I met him because he's a pro box promotions fighter and very strong from what I understand about him. What I learned, he's got good amateur background. He punches relatively hard, even though he only has 2 knockouts in 4 fights. Strong guy. I'm still next to him. I saw him yesterday. I saw him a couple days ago at the hotel. Cashflow got 0 pop. This guy has a little bit of pop. This guy can box. He's got decent pedigree as an amateur. Wouldn't be a bad fight to put some money on. But we're not bettors over here. There was no fight. They never signed a contract to fight. There was if you knew anything about that, there was a miscommunication with Star Boxing. Was it Star Boxing, Banner Promotions, and Paul Andre on a money thing? They didn't want to renegotiate because they wanted more money because Andre was the only world champion on that card, and Jarrell Charles didn't want to renegotiate the fight. But when Tony Harrison has an injury, he wants to wait 5 or 6 months for Harrison. So it's double standards, but it is what it is. And yes, it is official. Can't wait for it. What was that comment I saw? I spoke to Andre's older brother yesterday, and he said that they talked to Team Benavidez Lemieux fight week. Team Benavidez said they'd be down to fight. Later, Samson said they don't want to fight WBO fighters, and that lines up exactly with like what the PBC MO is. Like I've heard PBC fighters say sometimes that we don't value the WBO belt. Remember when PBC was trying to create their own belt because they didn't value the WBO? He was. I saw that. He was with Blueface, faded like a motherfucker. Like he was. It's ridiculous. Tim Bradley go crazy. Hey, I want to give like the biggest shout out in the world to Tim Bradley, man, because this really made me feel good the other day. So I was at the hotel where the fighters were, right? And Tim Bradley walks through. Now, mind you, last year I met Tim Bradley in Florida, and he knew who I was. He watched the channel, right? But then I was like, a couple of months after that, I'm like, man, Tim Bradley, he didn't know who I was, man. Like he probably just got me confused with somebody else, And so then I saw him at the hotel. He says hi to people, he keeps walking. But when I said hi to him, he stopped and we chopped it up for a little bit. He was great. He gave me great encouragement. So shout out to Timothy Bradley. Shout out to him. They know the WBO is top ranked values. They don't want to get their fighters matched up with them. Exactly. Is Spence fighting Bud for the WBO? Yeah. Now that it took Spence half a decade for Crawford to sue his promoter and for him to win a couple belts. It took like 3 dominoes to fall, and Spence and Crawford had to not be allowed Bob Arum for Earl Spence to finally find his balls to maybe fight Crawford. Which, by the way, you know what? No, scratch that. The fight ain't signed. So until the fight gets signed, he still hasn't found his balls to fight Crawford. And I'm gonna keep that same energy. But you know what? Fuck that fight. Either the winner has to go see Boots or they're cowards, because these guys are drawn this fight out so damn long that it's not even number 1 versus number 2 anymore. It's number 1 versus number 3. Mel just fought for the WBO. Yeah, he fought for the WBO because a PBC fighter had it. They're not gonna. Most of the time, PBC fighters do not want to fight for the WBO because of the fact, unless it's for undisputed, they're not fighting for the WBO because it means they'll have to fight a top rank guy, and they don't want to fight top rank guys. These are the fights, yeah. BT, play the video of Spence saying the big fights can get made, but he'd rather go with Heyman's plan, clean up his side of the street. See, do I have that video? Do I have that video here still? I don't know if I had it here. I don't have it right here. But yeah, he wants to clean up his side of the street. I'm not going to go look for it now, but he said it before. We all know he said it. That's why his fans always use it as a speaking point. He's just going to clean up his side of the street. I agree. I'm actually agreeing with that. I like Yarde. He's a fun fighter to watch, but I think we should just get right to it after this fight because we need a light heavyweight champion. But listen, guys. Look, on that note, I gotta get up on out of here because it's almost 1:30, and we gotta go eat and then go visit one more thing before we go to the fight. But listen, I've had a great time talking to you guys. Continue to support the channel. I appreciate like all the respect, all the love and support, and all the respect. I got a ton of interviews like coming out, like Boots Ennis, Stephen Fulton, Bozy Ennis, Greg Hackett, and Richard Comey. There's like a good solid 7 or 8 interviews just sitting in my dashboard. So it'll be out soon, probably like beginning of next week. But you guys take care. Enjoy the fights tonight. I'll try to come back and go live tonight from the Airbnb again after the fight so we can talk about the aftermath of Joe Smith Jr. versus Beterbiev. But you guys be blessed. Check out all the videos here on True School Sports. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. All right, Brendan. I got you, champ. I'm gonna check now.